All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I just want to welcome you to another edition of the Daily Sporting Mock Drafts. Today, what we're going to do is a very special mock draft. We're going to be drafting from the 8th spot in a 12-team league, kind of give you guys an idea and a feel of how that works, what's going on, and what you're looking for. I got Hammer on board today for the first 7 picks that we're running. Give you guys a little bit of different perspective. We got Beast Mode in the house, full Raiders fan.
All day.
So it'll be interesting to see what we look at for that first pick. I think if you followed any of our content, which, I greatly appreciate and thank you guys for doing that. But in the mock drafts, one of the things that we've been preaching is you want to take running backs early. Running backs are a position this year, which it drops off really far and really fast after the first, I would say, 12 to 14 players on the board. You start getting a lot of question marks. Hammer, what are your first thoughts about the beginning of the draft, and what are you thinking?
Get those running backs that are in your top as quickly as possible. And if some of your options aren't on the table, try to see potentially maybe a top receiver that puts up numbers week in and week out. That'll definitely give you a leg up as you continue through your draft process.
Yep, I definitely agree with that. And I think the overall arching theme for people to know going into the draft this year is that wide receivers are deep and wide receivers are plenty. Once you hit the plateau on the running backs, it starts to go down a little bit. But we're going to show you firsthand how that works. So today we're using the Fantasy Pros app, as we usually do. I think it's a great source for people to use in order to get better at drafts, kind of understand the flow of your draft and see what you're looking for. All right. Like I said, we're going to go from the 8th spot in a 12-team league. It's 1 full point PPR, standard roster positions, QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, 6 bench. We're only going to give you the first 7 here. We're going to give a full breakdown of this draft spot later on as I do this draft live. But let's get it going. All right, start draft now. All right, it's loading up. So let's see who goes first. First is, more than likely they're going to take Christian McCaffrey, but, oh my God, Saquon fell to 3. That's crazy. All right.
Take Henry.
Ah, man. Now
Wait.
Like to me, this is an interesting debate because Henry has a ton of upside because I see that they're trying to use him in more passing situations this year, which greatly increases my interest in him, knowing that he's a goal line back and knowing that my biggest knock on him was his pass catches. Clyde has the potential to be a top five player at the position. I mean, let's just be real. Not only top 5 player at the position, top 5 in the game. He's playing for a top offense, and what is it? Andy Reid keeps comparing him to Brian Westbrook, and Brian Westbrook traditionally is one of the best running backs that was in the fantasy game. I feel like all these other guys are a reach right here. I agree with Hammer. I think Henry is the move. So let's just take Henry and keep him moving. He's just a safer pick, I feel like, right here. It's a little bit too unknown with the rookie. Oh, man, there goes Sanders. There goes Edwards. There goes Gurley.
Feeling. Okay.
I mean, based on the way that went, I love Godwin. I love Kelsey. Robinson has interesting upside considering that the rumors are now that Nick Foles is positioning himself to take over as the starting quarterback with the Chicago Bears. That's a huge nugget of information that people need to know. Nick Foles is the potential starter week 1 for Chicago Bears, which definitely raises value up. But right here, it's a debate here. It's Austin Eckler. It's Joe Mixon. Those are the only 2 guys that I would think about. Maybe carry on Kenyon Drake, but Kenyon Drake just went into a walking boot, and we don't know how that's going to react for him for the whole season. He's already starting to get injured. They already have a good backup in Chase Edmonds, which makes me weary of the pick like this. Mixon's with the rookie. Austin Eckler's with more of a vet quarterback, but I know that he gets a ton of usage. I'm saying Eckler here.
Absolutely.
All right.
I don't care what anybody says about this when I say it, but as long as he's been a Charger, even with Gordon there, he was the better back. Hands down. He was a much better back. He's about to show improve this year with the Chargers. I'm telling you right now.
I definitely think that he's a fantastic a fantastic running back, and he's a great catcher. He catches passes like a wide receiver.
Yep.
So that's definitely something, especially in a PPR league, that you want out of your running back because it gives you a nice safety net of points. But then when I'm looking here, I think at this point you could either go quarterback, Pat Mahomes on the board, or you can go wide receiver. More than likely, I would say go wide receiver. There's 4 guys here that are really good: JuJu, Woods, Kupp, Cooper. I personally believe that JuJu is due for a bounce back year, and I heard Ben is looking good. I also like the volume upside here with with Woods. Who are you thinking about here, Hammer?
I'm looking at Woods, but at the same time, you still have Cooper Kupp there, so there's going to be a lot of distribution split between the two of them. But also the number one Coop, there's another one you have to worry about because you have Gallup, you have CeeDee Lamb now. Your best bet probably going with JuJu. Just hope he has a bounce back year.
Yep, I agree with that. I think the volume is going to be there, and especially if Ben Roethlisberger is healthy, you're going to see JuJu Smith-Schuster be a really solid pick for players this year. Definitely being undervalued. Now, we were debating here between Woods and Ridley. Between Woods before. So Woods coming back down here makes me feel great. I love Ridley here too. These two are real. This is the first real debate for me. As far as picks go, I had this debate with some other people earlier. Only reason why I would take Woods over Ridley is I just think that Woods is going to be the number 1 guy in the Rams, while Calvin Ridley still is going to have to deal with Julio Jones. And Julio Jones is significantly better than any of the guys that the Rams have. So
you also have to take into consideration with the Falcons the addition of Todd Gurley as well.
And they want to get Todd Gurley between 15 to 25 touches this year, which is really going to be interesting to see how the volume distribution breaks down in Atlanta. That's the only reason I'm fading Ridley a little bit. I'm still in love with the kid, still think he's going to break out, but I would take Robert Woods over Ridley, especially in this situation. Okay, boom. And there goes Cooper Kupp right after him. Terry McLaurin. I think Terry McLaurin could be interesting. DJ Chark. Oh my God! If this is how the real draft falls for me, I'm in heaven.
Take DK or no?
To me, right here, I think it's a no-brainer for DK. But I'll look at running backs real quick. David Montgomery just got carted off. They're saying it's a groin injury. We're not 100% sure what's going on there. The problem with is, when you go wide receiver after running back, getting that backup running back is kind of like where you want to reach for it. I like Hunt. I think Cam Akers could be good, but I know DK Metcalf has a shot to be the number 1 guy in Seattle. So I agree with you. I think DK is the move here, especially in a 1-point PPR. Put him in your flex spot, set it and forget it. And then I think that Cam Akers may be the next pick. Okay, so there's Boyd, there's Marquise Brown, there's Gallup. There's a lot of good wide receivers there. Just based on what we have here, he's looking at an ADP of 67, experts consensus rank 74. Montgomery, he should be healthy. Based on everything that I see here, knowing that he should be good for week 1. If he's good for week 1, this is the pick. If he's not good for week 1, you make another choice. But I think Montgomery would be the wave here, even though I like all these wide receivers.
What's open in the tight end spot? Because I know we didn't even draft the tight end yet.
Tight end, there's Ingram, Higbee, Henry. At this point in the draft, I'm not going to lie. I would rather fade tight end and get some of these young upstart guys.
Oh, yeah.
Like a Hayden Hurst, like a Noah Fant, like even an Austin Hooper. I would rather do that than pass on a running back where we only have 2, and just in case someone gets hurt or we want to flex them. He's still a starter and he's a bye week replacement. So I would think
go on Montgomery.
Yeah, I would go Montgomery as well. Okay. This draft is flying. We're already at our 7th pick. I'm very, very impressed with our speed today.
They're really good with it.
Wow. Hayden Hurst just went. That's crazy.
When it comes to Fantasy Pros and you're doing your mock draft simulator, they're very quick with it. I actually did one before we went on, and I put myself in the 8th spot. Man, that lineup that I put together or ended up with, it's an A+. Like, I can't get over the picks that I got out of that.
Yeah, and I'm looking right here. Ronald Jones, me forgetting Ronald Jones, I think it is a travesty because I would have went wide receiver there and then another running back. But in this case here, I'm taking Jones just because you can never have too many running backs. You can play up to 4 with these flexes, and he's a bye week replacement. Wide receivers, I like Crowder, but I think Crowder may still be there. Shepard may still be there. and some of these other guys. So I think right here, the play is taking the running back, taking another
Ron
running back.
Jones.
Ronald Jones, boom, first bench player that we got, and it's with pick 80. I like his upside at pick 80. John Brown. Okay, so now I think we're kind of set on running backs. Wide receiver wise, I think this is where it gets interesting. I do like Slayton, but I think it's a little bit of a reach. Looking at tight ends are starting to go by the wayside. So I think that here a good play would be Tyler Higbee because we already have Woods there. Higbee is an interesting red zone option, and just based on what we have, I'm going to be shooting for 2 tight ends anyway. So might as well just go with one now that we think is pretty safe or halfway safe,
Absolutely.
and then be able to get another one later. So I think tight end would be the move here. So bam, especially wow, Slayton. I didn't want to take Slayton because I felt like it was too high, but seeing the way this is going, some of these guys are really starting to move up draft boards, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. A lot of these guys that I was looking for later are starting to come up. I mean, right now, I think the play, I mean, we go for a home run here. I say we take that boy from LV, baby.
Woo! Get him. Because right now, Tyrell Williams has a torn labrum, and apparently he's gonna try to play through it.
Yeah.
You know what? A lot of us Raider fans are not sold right now, and we're already saying it's time for Brian Edwards to show up and show out. And the offensive coordinator at the Raiders, Greg Olson, has already talked about using Henry Ruggs as a slot a lot. So we'll see how this works out.
Now, since we're talking about the Raiders, and I know you're a passionate Raiders fan, this is a great person to ask this question. Do you think that Edwards is being criminally underrated in these drafts? I mean, let's put it like this. He was drafted after Ruggs, but he was projected to start before Ruggs. The offensive, Gruden and the coordinators seem to really like Edwards, and he's probably going to be the number 1 wide receiver on paper. Now, we don't know what's going to happen statistically, but on paper, he's set to be the number 1.
They liked him enough to draft him, but there were reasons. There were little precautions when they did draft him as well, and the one main thing was his hands. That was the one thing he needed to work on, and I had said that over and over again, even in the Raider group pages, whatever. Tyrell Williams, I never wanted. Tyrell Williams, I felt like he wasn't doing much when he was in San Diego, now LA, whatever. What did you sign him for? I saw him play against the Jets at the massacre at MetLife last year. Easy catches, dropped him straight through his hand. I'm like, dude, like, really? What are you doing? Like, so I'm not going to say, oh, it's great he's hurt right now. But at the same time, Edwards is there. Step up and show out. You got 2 weeks until the season starts. You need to continue to just stay consistent throughout the rest of training camp and earn that spot right now.
Now, since I know you follow Raiders training camp, what are you seeing about his hands? Does his hands look any better than what they had projected him at? Or is it someone that you think is going to be similar to Williams? They're going to have their drop issues, and you may just want to take Ruggs, who is going off the board earlier. This is one of the big reasons why I brought it up. Ruggs is going off the board earlier than Edwards, but Edwards has more of a guaranteed role to start, from what I'm understanding. Is that correct?
It is, and I would honestly still take Ruggs over Edwards.
The game-breaking speed is
exactly. It's just ridiculous. And I've seen a couple of the videos of training camp and stuff, and Edwards is doing good. He's definitely working on that craft just as much as Josh Jacobs is right now. The one thing that they want to do is have him work on the passing game. He said he wants to catch at least 60 balls this coming season, and he can. They took him out a lot last year as a third down back and had Jalen Richard there. Now, they do have a deep depth chart. They just recently signed Theo Riddick as well because he's one of those weapons. When he was with Detroit, that was a great pass-catching running back. Gruden has said that he wants to have Jacobs be out there for all 3 downs. And when it comes to the passing game, whether it being outside formations or swinging out of the backfield, they want to try to utilize him more. Jacobs graded himself last season with a B, and the one thing he wanted to work on was his pass catching and his protection, his block protection. That's really it. So we'll see what happens this year. His numbers did not lie. He came second in offensive rookie of the year last year to Kyler Murray, which to me is still a joke. He ranked third in the NFL in rushing yards per game with 88.5, eighth in total yards with 1,150, and tied fourth in the NFL with 4.8 yards per carry among players with at least 200 carries.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to see an upside with this kid this year, especially if they utilize him the way the Raiders will with Greg Olsen and John Gruden's offense.
Yeah, and I think that one thing that Gruden had said earlier in this offseason that really made me take notice is he had said that he didn't want to put too much on the rookie's plate in his first year, but now kind of like all the restraints are off. He's going to unleash the kid and let him just fully go. He felt that him learning the playbook, starting in the NFL for the first time, and being this main pass catcher was just too much for him. And that now that he feels that he's in a good position to do that, I mean, that's high praise from a very, very critical coach. Like Gruden don't play. Like
Absolutely.
Gruden don't play at all. He will take you right off that field. So I think that that's something that's very interesting for Jacobs. It makes me very, very interested in getting someone like that this year. I mean, at this point in the draft, I mean, we only have a few more picks. So I think here's the interesting and the last pick that we'll do for you guys. It's the quarterback position. I mean, I think at this point in the 10th round, having all these other positions filled, having backup running backs, backup wide receivers, having a tight end, knowing that we can get another tight end later on, I think quarterback's the play here. I think Tom Brady is a fantastic steal here, but I think that Daniel Jones is the better player here.
Oh, God, here we go.
I do. I personally would take I would take Brady here and expect that Jones may come back in the next pick, and then I would take Jones with the next pick as a back-to-back to be safe. But I'd take a look because I know you would take Brady. That would be your pick.
As much as I don't like Brady, yeah, I would take Brady. Numbers don't lie.
He fell pretty far, and yeah, I mean, and this is why I wait on quarterbacks because I would do this exact strategy. I'm a stack. I'm gonna take the other guy earlier. As another back-to-back value picks at quarterback. This is why you don't take quarterbacks early. You put yourself in a hole because you won't have the wide receivers, you won't have the running backs, and you're going to be reaching. So here at this point, I can do anything that makes sense. Like here, Allen Lazard, the Green Bay Packers are literally saying he should be the number 2 wide receiver. You're getting a number 2 wide receiver at the 137th pick who's being thrown to by Aaron Rodgers. That's a steal.
Money.
That's a steal. You know, and then when you come back here, you know, this is where, you know, you kind of just throw darts at the board and you see what's going to happen. Paris Campbell was great in college. There's a lot of upside. I think that based on what we said, we probably go with a tight end.
Paris Campbell's the receiver from Indianapolis, right?
Yep.
He's actually in concussion protocol right now.
Oh, well, then he's definitely not being picked up. TJ Hawkinson, come on down. We need a backup tight end. And look,
he was in a car accident not too long ago, and right now he's in concussion protocol.
That's crazy. And what's crazy is that you know, all these little injuries and stuff like that is like where we kind of got to make sure that we keep ourselves up to date. And by we, I mean us as a community, as a page, as you drafting, as us drafting, because there's so many things that change so fast. Like Montgomery got hurt today. Like, you know what I mean? So as we get closer to the season, make sure you look at the injured lists and just take a look to see who's not there, who's hurt, who possibly maybe out for a couple of weeks, because you can get real good value by either taking a replacement or taking the guy that's hurt a little bit later than expected. Hunter Renfrow is someone that's interesting to me. I know that the coach really liked him last year.
Yep.
He showed some skills.
Yep.
Knowing who's hurt and knowing he's a veteran, I think he's a safe pick here. What do you think?
Absolutely. That kid definitely was something special last year. I was calling him the little engine that can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I kind of thank God that Bill Belichick didn't have him on the radar, because you know how he does with his running backs and the type of guys that he likes. So, but let's round this out, and I'm gonna give you a comparison of the one that I did with that same exact draft pick, and see how both of these drafts looked.
All right, let's see here. Boom. I think we had a decent draft. I won't complain.
They had a grade. All right, so keep yours here.
This?
Keep yours up. I'm gonna go through mine real quick, and
Sure.
I'll give you the grade afterwards. The first pick that I actually went with was Derrick Henry, and in the next round, I was able to scoop up Josh Jacobs.
Oh my God, that's not even fair.
Right?
He wasn't an option.
So the lineup right now that I have from my draft simulator was Russell Westbrook, Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, AJ Brown, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee, Raheem Mostert, and the New Orleans Saints defense with Robbie Gould as a kicker. The bench is Ronald Jones, Deontay Johnson, CeeDee Lamb, Golden Tate, Hayden Hurst, Ben Roethlisberger, and Michael Pittman Jr., giving me a draft grade of an A+, a 97.07 out of 100.
Yeah.
Strengths, the strengths of the bench, the flex, the quarterback, the running back, the weakness, none. Like
that was a fan. To have Hayden Hurst and Higbee go is crazy because did you see how Hayden Hurst went before Higbee in this league?
Yeah.
And you drafted Hayden Hurst after Higbee in that league.
Let me see if I can see exactly what the draft log was.
I think that these guys are hurting me, man. I mean, they probably lowered me because of Ruggs and Lazard. I'm assuming, but this team is freaking stacked. I mean, JuJu is a solid wide. Like I can't understand how this is an 84 team. Fantasy pros, fix your rankings, bro. I don't know what you're doing out here. Your shit is trash.
Like, damn, get your life, guys.
You know what I mean? Like, fuck. Tom Brady is the quarterback, and we got him so goddamn late. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I think these people are smoking some crack. I'm not gonna lie to you. Having Eckler, Henry, Montgomery, and Ronald Jones as the 4 running backs, and then having JuJu, Woods, DK. I mean, okay, I think Ruggs is probably where we take the hit because he's such an unknown. His projected points would be significantly lower, and that is how they base their grades.
But this is exactly why going into the season, I'm not trying to really go with any unknowns as of right now. If I pick them up on the waiver wire, then cool. But we don't know what to expect yet. I don't want to take a chance on somebody and then all of a sudden they shit the bed.
Yep. And I think that's where later in the draft, you have to weigh the risk reward. Is this player, yes, he may be an unknown, but do I think that he could possibly be a league winner or someone that if they get the opportunity could blow up, which is what Henry Ruggs really could do in a real life draft. I am not mad at having Henry Ruggs on my team, full well knowing that I have enough players where the first 3 to 4 weeks, I don't need Ruggs. But come that second half of the season, when he's had time to be in Gruden's offense and they start working together, and it's like, you know what? Now Henry Ruggs for the final 5 games blows up. You're sitting back, and that's a guy that will significantly help your roster when you're going down the road.
And if you think about it, you look at, especially during the offseason, whether it being pre-draft pretty much, you look at the team's wants and needs and you try to fill those holes as quickly as possible. Now you look at how we did our rankings over the past couple of weeks by positions, and when it came to the receivers, primarily the receivers, I don't believe either one of us have a rookie receiver in any of our from 1 to 20. We didn't have a single rookie. But running backs, we have Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Yep.
Dude was drafted 32nd overall by the Chiefs, and all of a sudden, the night that we started talking about him and giving him praise, Damian Williams opts out for the season. Look who's starting now. Look who's about to show up and show out with Mahomie this coming season.
Now, here's the last question, and we'll end it on this. You just said that you're avoiding rookies because they're unknown. They don't know the playbooks. The situation's weird this year. Does that make you shy away from Clyde?
Nope. Especially now that we know that look at the running back set the Chiefs have had the last couple of years under Andy Reid with Pat Mahomes at the helm. Every running back they have had has done something special. You look at Kareem Hunt. You look at Damian Williams. So many running backs have come out of Kansas City that have been amazing running backs. We can go as far back as Larry Johnson, Priest Holmes.
And let's put it like this. Andy Reid has also had a history of developing running backs. He's had LaShawn McCoy. He's had Brian Westbrook. And he compares Clyde to Westbrook. He's a better Westbrook. When Westbrook was healthy and playing, he was a top 5 running back every single year.
Yep.
So this is a ton of upside there. There's only one other rookie that I think that I'm looking at with some real wanting. There's probably two. One would be Cam Akers, just because of the situation that's going on with the Rams. Henderson is out. They really don't have a backup. Malcolm Brown isn't someone that I think can take the job. So I think Cam Akers is another running back that's primed where he could take the job full out. And then the other guy is the number one pick in the draft. I mean, Joe Burrows. He's sliding. He goes undrafted in a lot of leagues. But I think he's someone that if you were to take a rookie like Joe Burrows, he has the potential to really blow up. Now, he could suck. Yes, we've seen it from quarterbacks. But lately, we're seeing more and more rookie quarterbacks produce better and better numbers and come into the league more ready than they've ever been.
But that's also the systems that they come out of in college as well. You have to take that in consideration when drafting some of these rookie quarterbacks
but
as well.
He played for LSU and played in the SEC, which you said is the big boy league.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So he played against the big boys, and he won the Heisman, and he won the national championship last year. So let's not totally write him off.
No. It's not a writing him off. I can give you a comparison right now of somebody that didn't play in a big boy league and somehow still ends up being drafted in the very first round. I wonder who that quarterback is, Taco.
Is that Mr. Lamar Jackson or is that Pat Mahomes?
Neither. Pick another one.
Hmm.
Your quarterback.
Listen, bro, Danny Dimes is a really fantastic player who's going to show out this year. Last year, he put up numbers. Last year,
24 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's numbers. That's the equivalent to Jameis Winston with his 30 touchdown passes. And how many interceptions? Come on, man.
First of all, the guy didn't start the whole season. Second of all, in the second half from weeks 18 to 17, he was a top 5 scorer. So from weeks 18 to 8 to 17, he was a top 5 point producer. If that's not starting, I don't know what is.
2-14, 3-13 New York Giants this year. Watch.
Guess what? That just means he's going to throw the ball a lot, which is great for your fantasy numbers. Don't look at the team stats. He better learn player stats.
He better learn from Eli and curl up in the fetal position a little bit more so he doesn't take hits.
Listen, put some respect on that boy's name.
Nope.
All right, guys, this has been a great mock draft. I like that we gave you a little bit of different comparison at the same pick. We personally are going to be running a draft tonight against other pages, like I said in the comments. We're going to record it and post it for you guys tomorrow so you can see how bad we whip up on these guys, and we'll be documenting it as we beat all these teams all year long.
We want those chips.
We want those chips. Get the dip, baby. Where's Drake at? I need a theme song. All right, guys. Have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so we can make sure we get you all the content you need to be ready to win your leagues this year. I'm hyped. I'm ready. Hammer, take us home.
Don't forget to wash your hands and your asses. Boom! We out.
Peace.